A road trip turns into a nightmare when 5 friends black out under mysterious lights and wake up hours later with no memory of what happened. Now each of them has a strange glowing scar, unexplainable powers, and haunting flashes of something they were never supposed to see. As they dig deeper, they discover their town holds dark secrets, and they might not be the only ones marked. Please like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to comment below. The sun was high in the sky, and the road stretched ahead like a ribbon of adventure. Lena leaned out of the window, letting the wind whip through her hair. She smiled as Jaden turned up the music. The van bounced slightly on the old country road, but no one seemed to care. "This is the best idea ever," Lena said. "I told you," Jaden replied with a grin. "Nothing beats a weekend road trip." In the back seat, Maya sat cross-legged, sketching in her notebook. Eli and Noah shared snacks, tossing chips at each other and laughing too loud. The van smelled like potato chips, sunscreen, and excitement. They had been planning this trip for weeks. 5 friends, 1 van, 3 days away from school, parents, and rules. The plan was simple: drive through the countryside, camp under the stars, and explore some cool trails along the way. "I brought marshmallows," Noah said proudly, holding up a bag. "And I brought my ghost stories," Maya added with a mysterious smile. "Don't even start with that," Eli said. "You know I hate creepy stuff." "Oh, come on," Lena said. "That's the fun part." Jaden chuckled. "We're heading to the middle of nowhere, Eli. There's bound to be something creepy." Eli rolled his eyes but smiled. He didn't really mind. Not when he was with the others. They had been friends since elementary school, and even now, nothing had changed. Except maybe Lena. She had become braver lately. Bolder. Sometimes Eli wondered what had changed in her. They stopped for gas in a tiny town called Dusk Hollow. It had only one gas station, a small diner, and a wooden sign that read, "Pine Ridge 6 miles ahead." "We're taking the shortcut through Pine Ridge," Jaden said. "It'll save us an hour." "Are you sure?" Maya asked. "My cousin said that place is weird." Jaden shrugged. "Weird how?" "She said people get lost there. Or come back different." Noah laughed. "That's just a story to keep people out. Let's go." As they pulled away from Dusk Hollow, Lena glanced out the window. An old man stood by the road, watching their van. He had a long gray beard and eyes that didn't blink. He raised one finger and pointed toward the woods. Then he slowly shook his head. Lena felt a chill. "Did you guys see that man?" she asked. "What man?" Jaden said. "By the road. He was staring at us." No one else had seen him. The van rolled forward, and the woods grew thicker. Trees leaned over the road like tall, whispering guards. The sunlight faded, even though it was only afternoon. "I've got a weird feeling," Maya whispered. Eli laughed nervously. "Probably just gas from the chips." But deep inside, even Eli felt it, the strange, cold twist in his stomach. As the road turned and twisted, the van seemed to move slower, like it was pushing through something heavy. The GPS stopped working. The music faded into static. And then, silence. The van engine still ran, but it felt like the world had paused. The trees didn't move. The wind was gone. Even the birds had stopped singing. Lena sat up straight. "Do you guys feel that?" Everyone nodded. Something was waiting ahead. They just didn't know what. The trees closed in tighter as the van moved along the narrow road. Tall pines stood like dark soldiers on either side, their branches stretched across the sky, blocking out the sun. The road had no signs, no lines, and no other cars. It was as if no one else had traveled this way for years. Jaden leaned forward, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. "This road doesn't look like the map showed," he said. "We should have asked someone back at the gas station," Maya whispered. Lena glanced at the GPS on her phone again. Still frozen. No signal. "Nothing's loading." "Mine too," said Noah, holding up his phone. "Mine's just spinning," Eli added. "Like it's trying to find where we are, but can't." The road twisted again. The trees got thicker. Shadows danced across the dashboard like thin fingers. Jaden turned off the music, It was only static now, and the silence that followed made everyone uncomfortable. I think we should turn around, Maya said. We're fine, Jaden replied, but he didn't sound sure. Then, without warning, something darted across the road. A quick blur. Too fast to see clearly. Jaden slammed the brakes, and the van jerked to a stop. Everyone was pushed forward in their seats, and Lena's bag flew off the floor. What was that? Noah shouted. A deer, Eli guessed. No way, Maya said. That was standing up. On two legs. Jaden stared at the spot where the thing had disappeared into the trees. Whatever it was, it's gone now. Let's not stay to meet it, Eli said quickly. Let's just keep driving, fast. They moved forward slowly this time, all eyes on the road and the woods. The laughter and excitement from earlier had vanished. Even the air felt different, thicker, like breathing through fog. Hey, Lena said softly, do you guys notice something strange? Besides everything? Noah asked. No, she said. Look behind us. Everyone turned to look out the back window. There was no road behind them. Where the pavement had just been, now there was only more forest. Trees stood close together, thick and unmoving, as if the road had never been there. That's not possible, Maya whispered. We were just there. Eli cried. We just came from that direction. Jaden opened his door and stepped out. The others followed. The ground was damp, the air cool and still. No birds. No bugs. No sound at all. It's like the forest swallowed the road, Lena said. Noah spun in a slow circle. Guys, what if we're not supposed to be here? They climbed back into the van, hearts pounding. Jaden tried to drive forward, faster this time, but the road just kept going and going. No turns. No signs. No end. Then they saw it, a clearing up ahead. A wide open space with a broken wooden tower in the center. Jaden pulled the van to a stop near it. I think we should rest here, he said. We're all on edge. We'll figure out what to do when it gets light again. But it's only 4 p.m., Lena said, checking her watch. Jaden held up his phone. Look. The time on the screen read 8:42 p.m. They all looked at their watches and phones. Different times. All of them. Nothing made sense. The sun was still up, but time had disappeared. And none of them could explain why. The van sat quietly in the clearing. The old wooden tower nearby leaned to one side, as if it had been forgotten for years. Some of its steps were broken. Its roof was covered in moss. Still, it stood tall, watching them like a giant with wooden bones. Jaden parked the van under a tree. We'll camp here for the night, he said. But it's not even dark, Eli muttered. Lena checked her phone again. Still no signal. Still the wrong time. Maya stepped out first. She looked around the clearing, her eyes sharp. This place feels strange. It's better than being on that creepy road, Noah said, grabbing the snacks. At least here we can see what's around us. The group spread out a little. Lena rolled out the sleeping bags. Maya gathered some sticks for a fire. Jaden opened the van's back door and set up the lantern. Eli and Noah went to explore the tower, but not too far. As they worked, the shadows grew longer. The sky turned orange, then purple. But still, no wind. No sounds. Just the quiet crunch of their footsteps and the soft snap of breaking twigs. This place is too quiet, Lena said as she arranged the sleeping bags. It's like the forest is holding its breath. Maybe it is, Maya said softly. That made Lena stop. Don't say things like that. Maya gave a tiny smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Later, they all sat around the small fire Jaden had managed to start. The flames danced, but the smoke didn't rise. It curled in place, like it was trapped in invisible glass. They roasted marshmallows and told stories, trying to bring back some fun. But the laughter felt forced. The joy from earlier in the day had faded like an old photo. Eli threw a stick into the fire. What do you guys think that thing was? The one that ran across the road. I don't know, Jaden said. But it wasn't a deer. And what about the man I saw in Dusk Hollow? Lena added. He pointed at the forest. He didn't want us coming here. I feel like we were warned, Maya said. And we didn't listen. The group fell silent again. A soft rustling sound came from the woods. They all froze. Probably just a squirrel, Noah said, though he didn't sound sure. The rustling came again, this time from the other side. Then again. And again. It was like something, or many things, were circling them, just outside the light of the fire. I don't like this, Eli whispered. We stay close to the fire, Jaden said. No one goes anywhere alone. We stick together. One by one, they lay down in their sleeping bags, pulling them tighter than usual. The fire crackled softly, but the woods stayed silent. Lena lay awake, staring at the sky. The stars were out, but something was wrong with them. They weren't in the right places. Some of them were moving. Slowly, like tiny ships drifting across the sky. And one star was pulsing, like it was breathing. She turned to Jaden, whispering, "Do stars move like that?" Jaden didn't answer. He was already asleep. The pulsing light grew brighter. Lena's eyes began to close. The fire flickered. The forest watched. And then, a flash of white light filled the sky. The fire went out. And everything turned to black. A bright white light burst across the sky like a firework, but it made no sound. Lena's eyes snapped open. For a second, she couldn't move. Her arms felt heavy, and her head was spinning. She sat up quickly, gasping. The fire was gone. The clearing was glowing, but not from the moon or stars. Strange lights floated above the trees, blue, green, and purple. They shimmered like jellyfish in water. "Noah," she whispered, reaching out and shaking him. "Jaden, wake up." One by one, the others stirred. Jaden sat up, rubbing his eyes. What's happening?" Maya pointed. "The lights." Everyone turned to look. The glowing orbs moved in slow circles above the clearing. They didn't flicker like stars. They pulsed, bright, then dim. Bright then dim. Like they had their own rhythm. Their own heartbeat. "What are they?" Eli asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Jaden said. "But they're not normal." "Maybe they're drones?" Noah guessed. "Some kind of tech thing?" "No drone moves like that," Maya said. The lights dipped lower, closer to the tops of the trees. And then they stopped. Frozen. Hovering. Staring. "I think they see us," Lena whispered. Suddenly, a sound filled the air. Not loud. Not sharp. But deep. Like a hum that you feel in your chest more than hear with your ears. It made their skin tingle and their teeth ache. Noah covered his ears. "Make it stop." The lights spun faster now, forming a circle above them. The colors blended, blue into green, green into purple, then white. The clearing grew brighter and brighter until the trees looked like they were glowing. Jaden grabbed Lena's hand. "We need to get in the van." They ran, stumbling over sleeping bags and backpacks. Maya helped Eli to his feet. Noah dove inside the van first. The door slammed behind him. Jaden turned the key in the ignition. Nothing. He turned it again. Nothing. The van was dead. Come on," he yelled, hitting the steering wheel. Outside, the light began to twist. It spiraled into the sky like a tornado made of color. The hum grew louder. The air felt heavy, pressing down on them like a giant hand. Lena's head started to throb. Her vision blurred. "I can't," she whispered. And then, silence. The lights blinked once. And everything went black. Lena woke up lying on the ground. The fire was out. The sky was dark. No lights. No sound. No color. "Guys?" she croaked. One by one, the others woke up. They were lying where their sleeping bags had been. But everything else was wrong. The van was gone. Their backpacks were missing. Even the wooden tower was no longer there. "What happened?" Maya asked, standing unsteadily. Eli touched his neck. "Ow." They all looked at him. There was a strange scar on the side of his neck. Shaped like a crescent moon. Lena's fingers flew to her own neck. She had the same scar. So did Jaden. So did Maya. So did Noah. Did we all? Jaden whispered. Lena nodded slowly. No one remembered what had happened. But they all had the same mark. And deep down they all felt the same thing. Something had changed. The clearing was still and cold. The air was heavy with something unspoken, like the world itself was holding its breath. Lina looked around, her heart racing. The trees were the same, but the shadows were different now, longer, darker. The world didn't feel like it used to. Jaden, who had always been the brave one, stood first. He wiped his hand over his face, looking confused. Okay, this is messed up. Where's the van? Eli stood, brushing dirt off his pants. It was right here. The tower was here too. Everything's gone. Noah walked to the edge of the clearing and stared out into the trees. This doesn't make sense. We were just here, weren't we? Lina nodded, her voice shaky. We were. And then, there was the light. The flash. It felt like we were gone for a moment. Gone? Maya asked, her voice tight with fear. What do you mean, gone? Jaden swallowed, his eyes flicking nervously to the dark forest. I don't know. But it's like we all blacked out. Like we were asleep, but we didn't fall asleep. Eli stepped closer to Lina, his face pale. Yeah. And now, we have these scars. Lina touched her neck again, where the crescent-shaped mark still burned faintly. It felt wrong. Not just a scar, but something that shouldn't be there. It's like we were part of something, she whispered, almost afraid to say the words out loud. What do you mean, part of something? Maya asked, stepping closer, her eyes wide. Lina shook her head. I don't know. But this, she glanced at the others. This is not normal. None of this is normal, Jaden muttered. The van's gone. The tower's gone. There's no road. No sign of anything we know. Maya shivered. What if we're not in the same place anymore? What if we're somewhere else? Noah snorted. Somewhere else? Like a different world or something? Maya's eyes locked onto his. Maybe. There was a moment of silence, thick and heavy, as the idea took root in the air. Everyone felt it, like a weight pressing down on their chests. This is crazy, Eli said, running his hands through his hair. This is all too crazy. We were just driving. Now we're stuck in the middle of nowhere with no idea what happened to us. We're not stuck, Jaden said, his voice firm, but even he didn't sound completely sure. We'll figure this out. We have to. They all turned toward the trees again. The strange, dark forest stretched as far as they could see. It felt like it was closing in on them, just waiting for them to take the wrong step. Lina's stomach twisted. We need to get out of here. Find a road. Find someone. But as they moved to start walking, the strange hum returned. Quiet at first, like a whisper you couldn't quite catch. Then louder, louder. It came from the trees. Hum. Lina froze. The others stopped too, turning their heads slowly toward the sound. It wasn't coming from the sky anymore. It was coming from the ground. From the forest. From the earth itself. The hum was vibrating in her chest. It felt alive. What is that? Eli whispered, his voice thin and fearful. I don't know, Jaden said, his face drawn with fear. But it's not natural. The hum grew louder, and then a figure stepped out of the trees. It was tall, almost unnaturally tall. A shadow moving between the trunks of the pines. The figure wore a dark cloak that fluttered like smoke, and its face, there was no face. Just darkness. An empty void where a head should have been. It didn't speak. It didn't move, except to slowly raise one long arm and point toward the group. Lina gasped. What is that? The others were frozen in place, their eyes wide. They couldn't look away. Then the figure's arm dropped. It didn't step closer. It didn't need to. The trees around them seemed to bend, to lean closer, to listen. For a second, Lina thought she saw something in the figure's dark cloak that shimmered faintly like stars. The flash. Like the light they had seen earlier. And then, just like that, the figure disappeared back into the trees. The hum stopped. The clearing was empty again. But the feeling of being watched, that didn't go away. What just happened? Noah asked, his voice shaky. I don't know, Jaden said quietly. But I think whatever it is, it's been waiting for us. Lina didn't speak. She couldn't. Her heart pounded in her chest, and her thoughts felt like they were running in circles. But one thing was clear to her now. The night was just beginning. And they weren't alone. Lina blinked. The morning sun was shining through the trees. The sky was clear, birds were chirping, and the forest looked calm, like nothing strange had happened at all. But she knew it had. She sat up slowly. Her body ached. Her mouth was dry. For a moment, everything around her looked normal. Too normal. The clearing, the grass, even the warmth of the sun felt like it was trying to trick her. One by one, the others woke up. Maya rubbed her eyes. Did we fall asleep again? Eli sat up and looked around. Where's the van? Jaden stood quickly. It's still gone. Noah looked at the empty space beside them. Wait, were we even here last night? I don't remember lying down, Maya said. I don't remember anything after that thing in the woods. Jaden checked his pockets. My keys are gone. My phone's missing, Eli said, looking panicked. Mine too, said Lina. And our bags, everything's just gone. Except us, Jaden muttered. Whatever happened, we're the only things left. The group stood in a circle, silent for a moment. The sun was warm on their faces, but it didn't feel comforting. It felt like a spotlight, shining on a secret. What do we remember? Lina asked. Let's think. The lights, Maya said. The colors in the sky. That hum, Eli added. It made my head feel like it was splitting. I remember something else, Jaden said. A shadow. With no face. They all froze. I saw it too, Lina whispered. It pointed at us. Noah backed up a step. But that couldn't have been real. That's like something from a nightmare. Maybe it was a nightmare, Maya said softly. But if it was, why do we all remember the same thing? And why do we all have this? Lina lifted her hair to show the crescent-shaped scar. The others did the same. 5 friends. 5 identical marks. This isn't a dream, Jaden said. Something happened to us. I don't know what, but it wasn't normal. It wasn't human. Lina's stomach turned. What if it wasn't from here? Nobody replied. Then Jaden said what they were all thinking. What if it was them? Them who? Noah asked. Aliens. Jaden shrugged. I'm just saying, we saw strange lights. We blacked out. We woke up hours later. We're missing time. And we have these scars. Maya's voice shook. My grandma used to tell me stories. About people who were taken by lights in the sky. They'd come back different. Some with scars. Some with no memories at all. Eli frowned. That's just a story. Is it? She asked. They didn't argue. Not because they believed, but because deep down, they didn't know what to believe anymore. Jaden looked up at the sun. We have to find help. We can't stay here. But where do we even go? Noah asked. Lina turned toward a small path leading deeper into the forest. It hadn't been there before, not last night. She pointed. That way. How do you know? Eli asked. I don't, Lina said. But something tells me that path is meant for us. Maya nodded slowly. If we want answers, we have to move. Waiting here won't help. Jaden took the lead. The others followed. The trees creaked in the breeze, and birds chirped in the distance. But the peacefulness felt fake, like a mask hiding something darker. As they walked, Lina looked up at the sky one more time. The sun was bright, but one tiny light still pulsed faintly in the daylight sky. A star that didn't belong there. It was watching. The forest path felt like it was waiting for them. The dirt was soft under their feet, as if no one had walked on it for a long time, or maybe no one ever had. The trees leaned in close, forming a tunnel of branches and shadows. Every so often, a breeze would slip through the leaves, but it carried no scent. No pine. No earth. Just emptiness. Jaden led the way with quiet steps, eyes focused straight ahead. Are we sure this is a real path? Noah asked, gripping his arms tightly. It's the only one we've got, Maya replied, though her voice wasn't strong. They walked in silence for several minutes. The forest didn't feel like morning anymore. It was darker, cooler, as if time had shifted again. Lina glanced behind her, but the path was already gone. The forest had swallowed it. Wait, guys, Eli said suddenly, stopping in his tracks. Do you feel that? Everyone stopped. Lena listened. At first, she heard nothing but the faint rustle of leaves. Then, something deeper. A low vibration beneath her feet. Faint, like a heartbeat in the ground. Jaden crouched and placed his hand on the dirt. It's real, he said. The earth's humming again. That's what we heard before the blackout, Maya whispered. As they stood there, the scar on Lena's neck began to sting. A sharp, hot pulse, like it was being burned from the inside. She winced and touched it. Ow, she muttered. You too? Jaden asked. Mine's burning. Same here, said Eli, tugging at the collar of his shirt. Noah pulled out a small mirror from his jacket pocket and looked at the mark on his neck. It's glowing. The group stared as the crescent-shaped scar shimmered with faint blue light. Lena looked at her reflection in the mirror. Her mark glowed too, like a piece of the night sky had been stamped onto her skin. This is not normal, she said, voice tight. This is not human. What do you think it means? Eli asked. Jaden stood up and brushed dirt off his hands. Maybe it's a signal. Or a tag. Tag? Maya asked. Like something marked us? Maybe, Jaden said. Like, so we can't hide. The idea made everyone go quiet. Lena looked up. The trees above seemed to shift in slow motion, like they were listening. I don't think they just marked us, she said softly. I think they changed us. Everyone looked at her. What are you talking about? Noah asked. Lena took a deep breath. This morning when I woke up I could hear birds, but they were really far away. Like miles. I've never heard anything like that before. I thought I was imagining things, Eli added, but I could see tiny details in the bark of that tree way across the clearing. Like too clearly. Jaden nodded. I felt stronger when I pulled Maya up earlier. Like, stronger than I should be. They stood in silence, putting the pieces together. Glowing marks. Lost time. Strange powers. What did they do to us? Maya asked. I don't know, Jaden said. But whatever it is, I don't think it's finished yet. Just then, a noise echoed through the forest. A crack, like a branch snapping, but it didn't come from any direction they could find. It came from everywhere at once. The humming grew louder beneath their feet. The trees began to sway, though no wind blew. And then came a whisper. Faint, distant, but clear enough to freeze their blood. We see you. No one moved. No one breathed. Lena grabbed Jaden's arm. We need to move. Now. They ran, no longer caring about direction. The forest closed in around them. Branches scratched at their arms. Roots tried to trip their feet. But they didn't stop. Because behind them, something had awakened. And it wanted them back. They didn't stop running until the forest thinned and the trees gave way to a small, grassy hill. The group collapsed at the top, panting, sweaty, and shaken. Jaden looked back. The woods behind them stood still, quiet once again, almost like nothing had ever moved. Almost like the forest had let them go. But Lena didn't believe that. Not for a second. This isn't normal, she said, trying to catch her breath. None of this is. You think? Noah gasped, flopping onto the grass. Jaden paced a little, scanning the area. Did anyone hear that voice back there? We see you, Maya repeated quietly. Like it was in our heads. Lena nodded. It wasn't just a voice. It felt like it was inside me. Like it knew everything I was thinking. That's not possible, Eli muttered, hugging his knees. Voices in our heads, glowing scars, disappearing vans. We're losing it. We're all losing our minds. No, Maya said, looking up. We're not crazy. Something is messing with us. The group fell quiet. Lena looked down the hill. In the distance, she could see what looked like a house. A small cabin, old and tilted slightly to one side. Smoke curled from its chimney. There were no cars, no people in sight. Look, she said, pointing. There's something down there. Jaden squinted. A cabin. It might be empty, or it might not. We should check it out, Maya said. We need help. I don't know if I trust it, Eli replied. What if it's another trick? Jaden looked at each of them. We can't stay out here. If that cabin's real, we need shelter. Food. Answers. Reluctantly, they agreed. As they walked toward it, Lena kept scanning the trees. Every time a branch swayed or a leaf fluttered, her heart jumped. The wind was cold now, even though the sun was still out. Something in the air had changed. At the bottom of the hill, they reached a broken fence. Its wooden boards were gray and splintered. A sign hung crookedly by one nail. The paint was mostly gone, but a few letters remained. RUTH. Forget our time? Noah guessed. Or maybe, target of time? Maya frowned. Forget your time? They exchanged uneasy glances. Lena's fingers twitched near her neck. The scars still pulsed faintly under her skin. Let's go, Jaden said. They stepped through the gate. The cabin door was slightly open. The windows were covered in thick dust. A low creak came from inside, something swaying, maybe a chair or the floorboards shifting with the wind. Hello, Jaden called, pushing the door slowly. No answer. The cabin's interior was dim. Dust floated in the air like tiny stars. A wooden table stood in the middle of the room, covered in old papers and broken glass. Shelves lined the walls, filled with empty jars and rusted tools. Lena picked up one of the papers. The writing was messy and faded, but one word stood out, written again and again in shaky, black ink. Watched. She shivered. Maya walked to a dusty chalkboard on the far wall. Symbols were scrawled across it, circles, arrows, eyes. One circle was shaped just like their scar. Beneath it was a question. Why us? Jaden opened a drawer and pulled out a notebook. The pages were torn, but the first sentence was clear. If you're reading this, they've already marked you too. No one spoke. Eli stepped back. We're not the first. Jaden slowly closed the notebook. And we won't be the last. Suddenly, a loud thump came from upstairs. Everyone jumped. Is someone else here? Noah whispered. Jaden stepped toward the staircase. Wait, Lena said, grabbing his arm. What if it's them? Jaden looked back at her. His face was pale. I think we're about to find out. The stairs groaned with every step Jaden took. The others waited below, too scared to follow, too afraid not to. Lena stood near the door, heart pounding like a drum. The sound upstairs had come from something, or someone. Jaden reached the top and peeked into the hallway. There was a small room at the end with a cracked door. He took a step forward. The wooden floor creaked under his foot. He paused, listening. Nothing. He pushed the door open. It was empty. A dusty old bedroom, with cobwebs in the corners and torn curtains swaying in the breeze. A broken mirror leaned against the wall. On the bed lay a single boot print, fresh. Jaden froze. Someone had been here. Maybe still was. Suddenly, from behind him, clang. A trapdoor in the ceiling swung open above his head. Jaden jumped back. The others shouted from downstairs. Jaden! Lena called. I'm okay, he said. But there's something up here. A hatch. Don't open it. Maya warned. But Jaden couldn't help it. Something drew him to it. Slowly, he climbed onto a stool and reached for the string. He pulled. A wooden ladder dropped down from the ceiling. Dust poured from the hatch like smoke. Jaden hesitated, then climbed up. At the top, he entered a dark attic filled with junk, old boxes, faded photos, cracked toys. But in the center of the floor, there was something different. A metal box. He stepped toward it, kneeling down. He opened the lid. Inside was a map. It showed the forest, the road, the town of Dusk Hollow, but none of the paths they had taken were on it. The clearing with the tower wasn't marked. The cabin wasn't either. But there was something else, a symbol. A circle with a crescent moon in the middle. Just like their scars. Below it, a word was written in red ink. Return. Jaden's hand began to shake. From behind him, a soft click. Turned. Nothing there. Still he felt it. Watching him. He grabbed the map and hurried back down the ladder. When he rejoined the others, they knew just by his face. Something was very, very wrong. We're not where we think we are, he said. And I don't think we ever were. Night fell quickly, too quickly. The group lit a few candles they found in the cabin. The tiny flames flickered nervously, like they wanted to run and hide too. Jaden spread the map on the table. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "It's like we're not on any real path. Like the forest we entered, it's not part of this world." Lena stared at the red word, "Return." "Return where?" she asked. "To the clearing?" Maya shook her head. "We tried to leave that place. We wanted to leave. Why would it want us to go back?" Eli sat in a corner, arms wrapped around his knees. "I don't think it's about where. I think it's about them." Noah leaned on the table. "If they're watching us, if they took us, maybe the scars are like a leash. A signal. Something they use to find us." Jaden looked up. "Maybe that's why the voice said, 'We see you.'" Lena felt sick. "So we're, what? Lab rats? Test subjects?" No one had an answer. The candle flames flickered wildly for a moment. Then the air went still. A deep, low hum filled the room again. The same one from the forest. The floorboards vibrated. The windows shook. Suddenly, the scar on Lena's neck began to glow again, bright and blue. So did everyone else's. "I don't like this," Maya whispered, backing away from the table. A whisper echoed through the room. Not from the door. Not from the attic. From inside their heads. "It's not over. You belong to us now." The candles blew out. Darkness swallowed them whole. 5 scars. 1 mystery. And a truth they've only just begun to uncover. But what if the missing time wasn't just a blackout? What if it was a message? In the next episode, secrets will rise, powers will grow, and danger will follow. Something is coming. Get ready for part 2 of this thrilling story, because this story is far from over.